The second note I made was just talk to Nick. I mean, that's what I'm trying to do.
We're not going to start the podcast. We're just going to talk. There's no starting point right now. We're just
I know. We're just talking. We're in
going
it.
through
We're
the show
doing it.
notes.
We're just going through it. And that's what I'm saying though. It's just that like I'm trying in my, I mean, like you said, like I have my voice when my like teacher voice, and it's hard to separate them out. But did you, like, if you had to say like the one most difficult part of recording and editing and posting and all that stuff, did you have a point that you're like, oh wow, this is more difficult than I thought, or after last week?
The editing was just tedious, so it got boring after a while. And then the reason I think our talking was stiff last week was because we were literally just repeating what we've already told each other before.
That's true.
So it wasn't a conversation. It was just a recap type deal.
Yeah, just kind of kicking it off. Yeah, I agree. The honestly, like the amount of effort that went into just producing, quote unquote, like on the background, the producing part of the first episode, where I mean, it was really fun doing like designing the art for Ethereum, like our logo with the dog, but then also like doing all that design stuff is really fun, but then doing all the background work for getting it onto the podcasting platforms, like I didn't realize, like I knew that you had to do all this work, but I didn't really realize how difficult it was. So
I'm just excited for our, if we get to that point, merch, because our dog is so cool.
It is.
I want a jacket with that.
I tried to downplay how stoked I was about it because I didn't want to like gloat, but I think it looks so cool. I'm such a fan of it. It is. It's cool, and I do like the idea if it transitions into the YouTube stuff. Just switching out, because I'm looking at it right now. Just switching out some of those colors and making it a different color or something. I like that idea a lot.
Yep. Do you know what colors yet?
I like blues. I mean, that's of blues and grays are the colors that I mostly wear.
Because if I were to start my own channel, I would do like gray and black.
Yeah, I'll probably do that. I'll mess around with it. I mean, it should be pretty easy to go in and do it. The file's all in there.
Well, based off of your content, I don't think dark colors are the best.
What do you mean by that?
For a sciencey education, I think black and gray and red, those are all like gaming colors more than green and blue.
Oh, we'll see. We'll look around.
Just my opinion.
We'll see. I really like this first few steps, and that's what we talked about that a lot last week. But I'm finding it is going back to work in a more official capacity this week. My time is like at the end of the day, I'm just exhausted because I was clocking it out, and I'm basically speaking for 5 hours straight. I have breaks in between, but I'm basically speaking for 5 hours straight at this same desk. And so the last few days I've been exhausted. But I'm going to need to be more...
That's why I don't want to be a teacher.
I mean, I love it.
For me.
Says the guy that's doing a podcast right now. But I love the talking aspect, but it's been really... I've had to reframe the way that I'm approaching it, where usually, I mean, in a normal classroom, you like use probing questions and that kind of stuff. I can't do that at all with Zoom because kids, it's really difficult for a lot of them to like engage in the Zoom platform. And so I'm kind of just like a streamer. I might as well be on Twitch and just have people like hit me up in the chat and just telling me stuff in there because I get very little like engagement over the thing, which I'm okay with, but it does turn into basically a streaming platform to teach science. So, but it is fun. It's fun getting to try different forms of explaining stuff to kids, though. So there's a pro there, because I do just kind of get an open platform to try out different ways of explaining stuff, and I get real feedback and all of that. So I really enjoy all of that.
Well, I wanted to say something in the car, but I didn't say it.
What?
The type of, because you're talking about your job, teacher, whatnot. I like what type of job I want to be, I have, or not job specifically, but the field.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not field. The part of a person's life that I want to be involved in, which is my job. And the specific part of the life, of people's lives that I want to like have be my job is the fun part of people's lives. So like when they go buy some, like not like working at like a golf course or something like that, but finding something where this, hopefully you'll be able to help me. That's why I'm asking you or telling you, like be able to work with people who are excited to be there and be working with you. Like who's excited to go see their accountant? No one, really.
Yeah.
Unless they're saving taxes or something, or they're, I don't know.
I was thinking about
just being a part of people's lives who are excited that you're, I don't know.
I know what you mean. You
were gonna say something?
Yeah, that was something that I thought about a lot. When I was like with the business degree, I was like, oh, I could basically go into any field. And that was my thinking of when I was at the brokerage, selling boats. I mean, that's what I did, that however many summers I did that. And it was cool because when people came to come look at a boat, they weren't doing it reluctantly. They weren't like being dragged to be there. And so it felt really fun because I was just there to help provide them with the thing they really want. And I was just like facilitating their dreams. And I had one of the head brokers. He was actually up from LA. Trent, the old guy that worked at the brokerage. I don't know if you ever met him, but we were working at a boat show, and there was a bunch of, so you know how the boat show, like the Jeannot setup is like usually the front run right there, and they have their whole fleet like up on display.
Yes, I do.
We were on like the biggest one that they had there, and he's one of the best ones, and so he talks to the people buying the biggest boats, and he like pointed over at one of the other brokers, the other salespeople, and he was like, you see how like stressed he looks, and like how he keeps like trying to like egg people on to like try to sell them. Like he's like, people that are buying fun things don't want to be pressured into buying it. Like you have something they want, you just need to show them how great it is, and you're selling them a lifestyle. So like that pressure point is not fun. So I completely agree that if you're gonna try to move into a field, and if I have any option, doing something that's in the fun parts of people's lives that's huge. I mean, yeah, working on a golf course wouldn't be fun necessarily, but
yeah, or like working in a hotel or stuff like that.
Working in Las Vegas at the craps table the whole time.
Yeah, something like that. That's everyone. It's fun, obviously, but that's not the type of.
Idea. I know. But
there's still like when people probably go to, like when they go sell like a boat. Sometimes they don't want to sell the boat, but they have to. So there are those moments, but those are probably rare.
Yeah. Did I ever tell you about one of my experiences when someone did an offshore delivery?
Maybe.
It was because the people that like skirt, I mean, you mentioned accounting and trying to evade taxes. Evade's a strong word, but trying to
Don't say that.
not
Avoid taxes.
avoid using the system in a way that you don't have to pay extra in taxes if you don't need to. I think that's a better way of saying it. But the way you do an offshore, when you register something in California, especially, the registration fees and the taxes on the sale is much higher than other states, and it's much higher than other countries, especially. So, based in San Diego, what we would do is you take the boat offshore, and it's called an offshore sale. And so you go 3 miles offshore, which is international waters, and then you have to. I had to take a picture of a newspaper showing what day it was, and a picture of the GPS showing the coordinates to prove we were 3 miles offshore. And then we drove out there. I sailed out there, signed the papers, took a picture with the guys as they were shaking hands with the coordinates, and then just drive back in. And then it made it officially an offshore sale. And then after that, they had to keep it down in like Ensenada or something for 6 months. And then they avoided having to pay the California tax and registration fees, which is just crazy. So, I mean, with someone,
sometimes is it worth it, or is it worth it only if the boat is big enough?
Yeah, and
because then the cost to keep it down in Mexico somewhere.
Yeah, and to have someone clean it and have someone to have a slip, but then you also don't get your boat for like a year. I don't think it's longer than 6 months. It was like a year or something. But it's like if you're gonna buy a boat, you might. Yeah, I agree. It's not worth keeping it somewhere else if you want to have it where you live. I completely agree. But
don't have to make those decisions right now.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, I don't have to make those decisions right now. But if and when that is ever a decision, if I get to buy a boat one day, yeah, I'll definitely be doing it as fair as possible. Yeah, but no, that's a great way of thinking about stuff. In terms of like career paths.
I just don't know where I want to. I don't know.
Well, it took me a long time to do it. I mean, it wasn't until a year after I graduated undergrad that I decided like, oh, I might like doing this, and then I went back and got my master's. So it may feel right now like you don't have any time, but the fact that
well, I know I have time. Yeah. I just don't know how I want to use my time to get to the end goal. That makes sense.
That does make sense.
Like, oh, should I go into this field, and then once I figure out what I really want to do, hop into the new field? I guess that's probably what's going to happen.
Yeah, and I mean, even if you're in a career for a little bit of time, I mean, what's a little bit of time? Like a few years, a few months? Like, do you know, like how?
Probably years.
And I know, like, all of my friends right now, like, are in a transitional phase where they, like, one does stuff with a bank, and one does stuff. He does like acquisitions and mergers for some finance company thing, and like we're at the 3-year mark post, or 3 or 4 years now, 3 years after graduating undergrad, and they're all like doing a pivot right now, where they're trying to switch into a new field, and it feels like, and it's weird how, I mean, our parents talk about work like it was, like they have some dedication to a company forever. But I think that's a very generational thing. And if you're in a company for 3 or 4 years, I mean, you can jump ship. I mean, that's just my opinion.
Dad went and did what he wanted to do for a while until he finally ended up doing, like, he didn't stick with one thing.
Yeah.
He went to Vegas, did theater lights. I don't know how many years he did that for.
He did it for like,
and then moved back home.
did it for I think 4 or 5 years. He did that, and he loved it, and he absolutely loved it. And whenever he talks
Yeah.
about cool things in his past, like he talks about that, he doesn't talk about working at the plant.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, if that's an indication of anything, but it's good you're thinking about this though at this point. Do you want to? Can we talk about this Verge article that I found?
Sure.
This is really interesting. So Waymo, have you heard of Waymo?
Why doesn't 3D Touch work on my phone?
3D Touch isn't a thing anymore on the new phones. It's long press now, so you hold it for like 1, 2, or something like that. I think 1, 2. Yeah, it's about 2 seconds of holding. I don't know why.
Okay.
I mean, the 10 or the X, the 10. Well, I don't know what we were supposed to call it.
Yeah, what's the Verge?
The Verge. What is the Verge? The Verge is like
Oh, just electric car.
no. The Verge is
brand?
that they're like a tech news site. Yeah, but no. To answer your question about the phone, the 10 had Force Touch with iOS 13, and then iOS 14 got rid of it. I believe I might be off on my iOSs, but the most recent current one is long press only. They don't do Force Touch anymore. With it, it's so stupid because I loved Force Press or Force Touch. Like it's like just like on the watch, because on the watch I use it all the time. But
Verge article
autos. Well, yeah, I use the word autos. Yeah.
Which one is
What do you
it?
mean, which one is it? Just click it.
I clicked it.
It takes you to The Verge. It takes you to that. It's an article.
Open link. All right, I'm on it.
Cool. So it says Waymo says it's ditching the term self-driving in a dig at Tesla. The dig at Tesla thing, okay, it might be an editorial situation going on with that, but I do think it's an interesting conversation about the use of the word autonomous driving versus self-driving. Because Waymo is the company. Have you ever heard of Waymo?
No.
I haven't either. In the picture there, it's Waymo is a sticker on the back of a Chrysler car. Maybe it's just a self-driving autopilot company.
It says the Google sister company.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. But in the article, they talked about how they don't like the word self-driving, and they prefer the word autonomous driving instead. And I wanted to know your opinion. What do you think of? I mean, because you've driven with me in my Tesla, and you've seen. I had enhanced autopilot on the last one. This one, I didn't opt into the higher one because I don't think it's ready yet.
It's not worth $10,000.
It is not worth $10,000. Yeah, $10,000, and it's
too
crazy
much.
because it used to be what, like 6.
I can upgrade to the performance for that price.
That's crazy.
I'd rather
For
just do that.
a software that isn't even ready yet and hasn't even, like, the betas. People like can run like betas of it, and there's like a beta program, but you have to like it just.
I don't know how I feel about doing a beta on a self-driving car or autonomous driving.
Yeah, especially when your life is literally on the
I
line.
now have an opinion on the thing, on which wording. Self-driving is just easier to say than autonomous driving. Self-driving. Self instead of autonomous.
I think
it's more convenient. I don't care which one you use. I understand what both are.
I think that
And if that's how you set yourself apart from Tesla, then sure.
So the point that I read that they're making is that it says, yeah, the company is changing the name of its 3-year-old public education campaign from Let's Talk Self-Driving to Let's Talk Autonomous Driving. And I think it's because they use the word deliberate language, saying that autonomous cars aren't self-driving yet. and they think it's dangerous to start using self-driving because the cars require some user input still. Like how many news stories have been run of like, oh, man fell asleep on the freeway while his Tesla was driving him. Like the
You didn't crash though.
yeah, that's true. But the full self-driving term, like the Teslas aren't there yet. And so I guess that the point they're raising is that we shouldn't use this language yet because that's not what it is.
I think they're just using the language now because that's what they want to get to in the future. So they want to have people be saying full self-driving instead of, I don't know if it would affect, like, oh, now it's called, or saying it's autonomous. Oh, now it's called full self-driving.
Yeah. Yeah, because
They could do like semi self-driving.
well, then you're just adding words. But yeah, no. So this is
Mostly
this is what it says. It says like that quote from what's the name of this company again? What did I say? It's what? Waymo. It says it's more than just a branding or excuse me. It's more than just a branding or linguistic exercise. Unfortunately, we see that some automakers use the term self-driving in an inaccurate way, giving consumers and the general public a false impression of the capabilities of car driver assist, not fully autonomous technology. And then they bolded this section saying that false impression can lead some unknowingly to take risks, like taking their hands off the steering wheel that could jeopardize not only their own safety but the safety of those around them. I agree with that premise. One of our neighbors last year got a Model 3 back when I had my Model 3, and they like test drove mine with me, and then when they got it, I rode around with them to like help them know the features and stuff. And they were like, I don't know, 60 years old or something. My God, let me tell you, I don't want anyone that doesn't understand the capabilities of their of their autopilot to try to use it, because I think it's when you're on a freeway, it's not that dangerous. But if you turn it on and drive up to a stoplight, like it's not going to stop. And so I kind of agree with the safety thing, because some people they think that the car's just going to drive them and they don't know what the limitations are. So I like the messaging that they're sending here, that we need to be more clear about it. But I think that also means that the people buying the cars are who you need to tell. It's not like some random Joe's going to walk into one of these cars accidentally and start autopiloting, So
maybe they could get rid of the full self-driving.
Yeah. I mean, they even took a stab at just the word self-driving. Because
I feel like full is even worse because it's not full self-driving. If it was fully self-driving, I wouldn't have to do anything. I could sit in the back seat and just input something on my phone and it will drive me there. That's full self-driving.
Yeah.
To me, at least. But self-driving capability, they could do semi because they already have full, so semi self-driving capability. But also, would you want to buy? It sounds cooler if you say, "Oh, I got the full self-driving capability in my car." Could be marketing.
I am a huge fan of the term autopilot. And I don't know if I've ever used that description, because that's what mine used to be called.
Well, that's what they called, like, what's included with every Tesla.
Yeah.
Autopilot.
Is it called autopilot now? So that's...
Yeah, it says autopilot included.
Okay. So that is what it is. For anyone that's never like driven a Tesla or driven any type of car that has the self-driving features, like my last one was called enhanced autopilot, where it would do...
That would be a better...
I think autopilot's a better term.
Enhanced autopilot instead of full self-driving capability.
Well, I mean, Tesla can't do that because that's what they used to call the middle tier, but they got rid of the middle tier and now it's just the top tier.
They got rid of the middle tier like 3 years ago.
But then they brought it back like 6 months ago, like mid 2020. Yeah. I could have got it for like $3,000 or $4,000, and that's when full self driving, quote unquote, was 8,000. Then they got rid of the middle tier again, and then they bumped it up to 10,000, which is crazy. But yeah, that so I'm looking at my app right now, and it literally says on it. So there's 2 upgrades that I could push right now. It'll charge my card, and then my car will start doing it. One is an acceleration boost.
How much is that?
$2,000, improving it from 4.8 0 to 60 down to 4.2.
Pretty cool.
What is?
Cool.
Yeah, so that is not gonna lie, that is pretty darn neat. You can update software and make your car faster. What is the? Do you remember what the?
I think the performance just comes with. Oh no, it's way.
What's
faster.
the performance? That's what I was gonna ask.
It's 3.5 seconds, 0 to 60.
3.5. Holy moly! That's insane.
Can't wait.
That is insane. The yeah, but here's the second thing on my. We'll post this in the show notes too, so you can see what the upgrades thing. You literally check a box, and then I'll screenshot it with this. It's ridiculous. You check a box, and then it comes down to the bottom. It's like, oh, pay with your Apple Pay. Push the button right here, and the upgrades will come right away. And it says upgrades are not eligible for refund after 48 hours. And so, like, hey, you push this, and you can spend $10,000 like it's nothing. It's nuts to me. But on the full self-driving,
it's. Did I tell you about one of my friends? They for some reason got the full self-driving capability. Not really full self, but
like that tier, right?
They just got it in their car, and he doesn't remember. He didn't buy it when he bought the car, so he thinks that somehow, on accident, he bought it in the app, and it was too late to return it. So he had a $10,000 bill that he was stuck with.
Are you talking about our optometrist friend? Or ophthalmologist friend?
Yes, he's a doctor, so...
It's not the end of the world. But that's ridiculous that could happen. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I really hope that's not what happened. But I also don't hope... That's what it's like. You just like unknowingly accidentally paid. Sure. But no, but on the full self-driving list here, it says navigate on autopilot, auto lane change, auto park, summon, traffic light, and stop sign control. Then under that, it says coming soon, auto steer on city streets. The thing you pay for, which is the auto steering on city streets for $10,000, is not even available yet. And you're paying $10,000 right now for it. And here's the worst part, is that it goes away with your car. Like when I sold my Model 3, my enhanced autopilot vanished from my account and went with the car to some person that I sold it to. So just say I purchase a new Model Y, which is what I drive now, and I buy the $10,000 full self-driving, and I want to sell it, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to buy a Model X now, cool. I lose the car with that $10,000 thing. And you can't transfer it over in your account, which I think is so stupid. Plus, the fact that like people don't really understand the value of having that full self-driving, and I tried using that as a selling point that I had enhanced autopilot, but it really did not help. Saying like, oh, like they're like, oh, this other car is listed for this much, and it has the same amount of miles and it's the same year, and I'm like, yeah, but mine has like a $4,000 extra system going on in it. It was just it's a really bizarre business model that hasn't, I don't think, fully come to form, and I think a lot of people are paying for something they don't think they're paying for. And I think that I kind of agree with what this Verge article is saying, from the what company was it called again? From the Waymo people.
Well, I want to add something
from the yeah go ahead.
On December 20th, 2020, Elon Musk said that they're going to release a full self-driving subscription this year, 2021.
Oh, so that is
obviously cut down on cost.
That is confirmed then.
Yeah, it was in a tweet.
Oh.
I don't know if he responded to someone.
He always does that, doesn't he? Where he says like, someone says like, I'd like this, and he just responds with like,
he's like, do it. At Elon Musk, can you allow FSD, full self-driving, to be paid for annually? Makes no sense buying FSD if I am leasing.
I agree.
I didn't even think about leasing.
Yeah, it makes
buy a $10,000 upgrade,
but
that you can't even use if you're leasing it for 2 years.
But you're paying for it per. I mean, take that $10,000 and subdivide it across 2 years, and you're paying for. You aren't paying off the full car over that time. You're just like, right?
No, you're paying. It's like you're renting the car, basically.
Yeah, but wouldn't your...
But it's called the lease because it's over a year. I'm pretty sure that's how it works.
Doesn't that mean, though, that it actually, if you're leasing the car, it is kind of like a subscription service for the full self-driving? A little bit? Because you aren't paying...
I'm not sure how it will work, but we will talk about it when it
I wonder if... Because if it's not like you're buying it outright.
No. It's like Apple Music. You're not buying the songs. You're buying the subscription so you can listen to the songs.
No, I know that.
But when you stop paying for the subscription...
But when you lease a new car, do you pay for, like... It's like, oh, hey, I've started my lease thing. It's $400 a month. Great. Oh, I also want full self-driving. Charge $10,000 all at once? Or is it, we're gonna...
It's probably an option.
It's gonna be like, hey, I buy the car with full self-driving, and then that price is what's leased, and you have a loan based on that price. I don't know. I'm curious, but
I'm not sure.
Anyway, I
think it would be, you'd get the loan based off the car you buy that day, and then you just pay the subscription to have it
separate,
but you never actually buy the full car.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You don't buy the full self. You'll never fully own it. You'll just own the subscription to use it.
No. I know that for the subscription.
Stop paying it.
But I mean for the if you lease it now and then buy it was my question. But yeah, that makes sense. I don't know. We'll see.
I think if it's a subscription, you could, once you go far enough in your subscription, it will just pay off. Maybe.
I mean, how much? I really wonder how much they're going to be charging per month.
Your subscription with... That'd be cool if they kept it with the customer. Your subscription. So once you get to a certain subscription, like after so many years, you don't need to buy it again.
Yeah. Or if you like pay it off to what it is. And then if it was transferable between vehicles, I mean, that would be even better. But it
is. They could do that. It's just software.
Oh, I know, but I don't know why they don't do it.
Delete it, add it to another one. They want you to pay more money so they can...
Which, I mean, more stuff. I feel like they're better than that. But my last point I wanted to make...
Well, they need it. They need it for R&D and whatnot.
Yeah.
To develop better cars.
I think the last point with the subscription service, that I saw someone on Reddit, they made a point that they would like just say they're doing a long road trip, and it's like, hey, I'm doing a road trip this month, I'll buy the subscription for the month, and then so I can have the car drive me on my road trip, and then when I'm done with the road trip, I don't need it for my daily driving, which I would completely use it for that.
That's smart.
Because I drove from Southern California to Texas, or I got cut short in New Mexico, but then I flew to Texas. But I drove to New Mexico, to Albuquerque, and it's so nice sitting there when it's on autopilot, and it's like I'm flying a plane. I literally am just sitting there, monitoring everything, making sure nothing goes wrong. I have my hand on the wheel, but I'm just chilling. It's like I'm sitting on a couch, listening to a podcast, listening to music.
See, but everyone already has that. Stuff for long road trips when you're on a freeway the whole time, you can use autopilot.
Everyone in every Tesla has that. It's only when you
get into cities and whatnot.
Yeah, that's true.
So maybe, I don't know if you really need it for long road trips.
That's why this is why I
that's when you would use autopilot.
This is why I didn't get full self-driving, because it feels so gimmicky right now that it's not worth it. It is not worth it.
Yeah.
But I don't know, we'll see, Elon, if you can impress us in the future. You've already done it so far, but
the self-driving used to be, what was it? It was like 6 or 8, and then if you wanted to get it after, you had to pay an extra 2,000. And now it's just 10,000
across
now,
the board.
or you wait 10,000 later.
And that number's only going to go up. So along the thread of subscriptions, talking about subscriptions, recently, or in 2021, what's it called? The Office and Parks and Rec were pulled from, here in the United States, were pulled from Netflix, and NBC, Comcast, has formed their new streaming service called Peacock.
How much is Peacock?
I don't know. That's an excellent question. Peacock price.
If it's under $10...
Oh, premium. They have a premium. Of course they do. Whoa. It's only $5 a month. What? Oh. 2 different plans. Or $10 a month. What's this?
Whatever has The Office and Parks and Rec. That's the only one I want. Oh, it has Psych.
Psych was an NBC
but
show.
Psych's already on... It's already on... what's it called? Amazon Video.
Okay, people of
Prime
the
Video.
internet. Everyone kept complaining about the ads on the shows. They're like, I don't like having ads on my streaming stuff. Well, you didn't pay. You paid $4.99. You think that's gonna pay for? I don't know. That's the reason why Amazon Prime
only $10.
I mean, it's $10 a month. How much is it for the Parks and Rec and Office complete set on Apple? Probably over $100 something dollars. Because I know Seinfeld we got for $100.
I know season 1 of The Office
It's free.
Was like $20 by itself.
Oh, okay. Don't we have like season 6?
Each of them.
Yeah. This is where my problem is with all of this, though. Like, I feel like we have crossed a threshold of like where we hit the golden age of streaming in like 2014 to 2018, right in there.
Well, if you have Xfinity or Cox, it's included. I think Zach has Xfinity.
Zach does have Xfinity. Yeah, that's Gabby was telling me.
I wonder if we can.
Oh, use theirs.
You can just get the
login
user and password.
Yeah, because it really is sad though that like we went from everything on cable, like watching. We had appointment television once a week or however many nights a week,
recording all the stuff.
Like our growing up, our DVR was filled with The Office. It was filled with Parks and Rec, Psych, and
Avatar,
Last Airbender, and MythBusters on repeat.
Oh yeah, MythBusters a lot.
And
wait, is MythBusters? No, it's Discovery.
And Discovery. I just saw Discovery has their own streaming service now, and that's what the point I want to make is that like we went from paying one fee to a cable company to get everything we could ever need, with having things on demand, all that stuff. Then we started having these streaming services that were like, hey, we want to take away having to pay for cable and blah, 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 and things you don't need. But now you have to pay for a NBC streaming service and a Disney Plus, and you have to pay for Discovery, and you have to pay for all these different things. And it's like, it was basically cheaper just to have cable altogether. Obviously on cable, not everything's just saved and you don't have a backlog of all of their content. But it is really frustrating now that we have to have so many different monthly plans.
I think the best one, if I had to keep one, would be YouTube TV.
I agree. And that's how long have you been using it?
That I really want.
A year and a half now?
1.5? Yeah, 1.5 years.
We got it in fall, like August, September, somewhere in there of 2019 is when we got it.
get pretty much all the sports because we have the sport package, Red Zone, all of the major networks and whatnot.
And it's only
unlimited DVR space.
That's the coolest part. Was I don't know because we each had our own account, so I never saw what you recorded. But what did you have recorded in your DVR?
Anytime I saw anything that I was like, oh, I might want to watch that, just record. Let me just go through
anything possibly interesting. You're like, yeah, why not? Oh yeah, because it was unlimited.
If I was sitting
DVR
there
space.
and someone said a movie and they're like, yeah, this movie was really good, I would just go on and search it. Okay. TV shows, The Bachelor, because I was into that last time.
Oh, you watched The Bachelor last year? I never got into it. Good. I liked how on
South Park.
Oh, on South Park.
Sorry, go.
No, I was gonna say it was fun on Part of My Take. They used to talk about like guys who watch The Bachelor or something was a segment, and I did find it amusing the way that they would talk about it on there. But I've never actually watched the show myself.
I watch it more for like the girls wise. That's why I don't watch Bachelorette. I have no.
Oh, so it's the one where it's like with the one guy and multiple.
What's the one guy and all the girls?
Got it.
Yeah. Okay, and then South Park, Friends, Rick and Morty, Family Guy, Yellowstone. I think Mike, my roommate, recorded that, and House. I also think that was him. MythBusters, Biggest Loser, and then The Walking Dead. Those are my TV shows. And then movies, I have like 40 movies. Both Anchors, Superbad, all the Transformers, Lone Survivor, Wolf of Wall Street, all the Harry Potters, 21 Jump Street, 22 Jump Street, American Sniper, Ice Age. It just goes on and on.
That's what's
Deadpool,
yeah, it felt like
Ted,
you can
just The Longest Yard, everything.
Yeah, and there was the one. Are you able to fast forward through the commercials on those? I can't remember.
Depends. Some of them I don't get any commercials, and then some of them I'll have commercials, but it's like, oh, one or two commercials, 30 seconds. It's not that big of a deal for me.
I mean, considering you can have basically unlimited stuff, and it's only like
there should be a
$60.
premium YouTube TV, so there's no commercials.
I
think I'd pay for that.
I mean, I don't know how people don't have YouTube Premium. I don't understand. Like every time
my friend wants to show me a video and they see an ad, I'm like, just get YouTube Premium. He's on it way more than I am ever.
It is.
On it.
It is. I'm a huge believer in look at the things in your daily life, like anything that you do in your life. If you can pay just a little bit more to enhance your experience with something you use every day. One of them is my phone, where I use my phone for everything. It is my lifeline to the world. I'm not going to have if my phone is like having problems or it's a cracked screen or it's just an old phone, in my opinion, if you have the means, of course, but like just get a new phone. Like I had a friend that he still had like an iPhone 5 and he was like several years graduated from college and makes a lot of money. And he's like, no, I don't need it. And I'm like, dude, like, imagine if you had the new phone, like how much better everything would be.
Use it every day.
You literally use it every day. It's the first thing you touch when you wake up. It's the last thing you touch before you go to bed. And some people just don't care, which, okay. Some people
I put more money into things I use every day than things that I use once in a while. For example,
I was going to say, do you have anything?
Like a watch. It'd be like, I have the nice Apple Watch. I like the stainless steel, so I upgraded that. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that sort of stuff.
And I
know everyone can't do that.
And people,
my keyboard for my computer. I'm on my computer all the time. I wanted the nicer keyboard that's like metal, nice Logitech, like pro version keyboard. So I use it all the time.
Yeah, and just picking.
Same thing with my computer itself.
Picking the battles of like what what are the devices or the things you actually use. I mean, mom, I don't know if you heard her saying of, I don't know where she said she heard it somewhere, so she obviously didn't come up with it. But that, like, you make sure, like, don't be afraid to pay the premium price for the things that are in between you and the ground, which are your shoes, your mattress, and your tires. And making sure that those, like, if you, I don't know, have you ever purchased a mattress and gone through the process of picking out a mattress?
I've laid on them.
I've been
had mom buy
I've been
them,
to a
but
mattress
that's about
store,
it.
but you've gone through the process of like feeling which mattress feels the best.
Yes.
Yeah. So I finally bought my first mattress after college, and like I'm like, this one is just for me. I don't need anyone else's opinion. It's like what makes my back feel the best. And my goodness, like since having picked up my new mattress, that was a year and whatever ago, it was the first time that I'm like, finally I have my own place. I can get my own mattress. It is life changing, life changing. And I don't know why, I understand why some people can't afford, or why people, that was the wrong way of saying
Even
that.
if you can't, because I was living in this rinky dink house with this very uncomfortable that I was renting. He provided the mattresses. There were two twins pushed together and no support whatsoever. So I just went at Costco. They have the foam pads, and I just rolled that out, and that worked fine. It's more comfortable than my bed at home, which, yeah.
That's, and isn't it just like an incredible feeling when you wake up and you're like, wow, my back feels great, and or like you don't notice.
Because I used to wake up. I used to wake up and my back was in like pain, which isn't good.
That's not good.
And I did that for half a year until I finally just like, I'm just gonna get it, and I haven't regretted it ever since.
And that's like the same thing with like shoes. If you have, especially, I mean, your daily walking shoes, like it really depends.
I'm never changing my daily walking shoes unless something can beat the Allbirds.
Allbirds are incredible.
They are my favorite shoes.
Allbirds, if you want to sponsor us,
it's like walking.
We will praise your product. It's incredible.
It's like walking on a carpet all the time, but not like a super fluffy carpet, but just like, like a normal.
You still wear socks, right?
Quarter-inch. Oh yeah, I don't want to sweat in them.
Oh, I know some people that don't wear socks, and like they're designed so you don't have to. But I still wear socks.
What material would you call this?
It's wool. There's like wool. Aren't they wool?
Yeah, it's not like soft wool, but it's like.
And they breathe still. It's not like they're like heavy material.
Yeah. They don't get dirty. Like Zach's, his shoes look great, and he's had them for a year.
Yeah. You should clean the rim of them because they're like whiter cream.
He says he wears them every day. Wears them to work, everything.
Well, that's cool. How is your wear your shoes every day been going? Have you been doing that?
I have a little bit, but I like when I want to watch TV, it's a nuisance to take off my shoes, so I just stand in front or behind the couch and just watch TV. Or I sit on the couch with my feet hanging over the side, so I'm not on the carpet. I'm trying to cheat my way, and I need to stop doing that.
Well, hey, I mean, at least it is still a barrier to you just plopping down all the way. So it sounds like it's working a little bit. But yeah. The what were we even talking about? Where do we start with this?
We were talking about streaming.
Oh, buying things that are necessary. Yeah.
Yes.
YouTube Premium. Buy it, people. It's incredible. If
I had to pick YouTube Premium or YouTube TV.
YouTube Premium.
Or YouTube TV, and then if I didn't have like a cable network, I would do YouTube TV. Anyways, the thing that bugs me about Peacock is I wanted to watch a golf match, and they they said, oh, the first 2 hours is going to be on Peacock, and then the rest of it will be on live television. So only way I could watch it is if I bought the subscription for the Peacock in order to watch it.
I think they were hoping people would just because I think there's still a free week trial or whatever. So I think the point was just to get people to start the free trial and like check it out and do it. But I agree, it was frustrating. You're talking about the PNC where Tiger and Baby Tiger, Charlie, were playing together. Charlie Woods, that kid's gonna be fun to watch. That's the one. Yeah, it really put a bummer, and I didn't even care to go back. Like I forgot. I was like, oh well, once it comes back onto TV, I don't remember if it was on NBC or a Golf Channel when it came back onto the TV. But I was like, why do I even? I kind of forgot about it, and then when I finally got to it, it was like almost over, and I was really disappointed because I was looking forward to that. So you're seeing the debut of Charlie Woods there, but
yeah. I was gonna say something about. Oh, and then there was one. I think it was a football game that was on. I don't know if it was Peacock. It might have been a different subscription. It was on a subscription because the NFL they like had a contract saying you get this many games on whatever network, and because of COVID, they rescheduled a lot of games, and one of the networks was like one game short of their contract, so they gave them full rights to that game, and so they just put it on their subscription that you have to pay for. So I couldn't even watch the football game that I would normally just watch on TV via cable or whatnot.
That's crazy.
I just don't want it to be half the stuff that I want to watch is on cable and half of it's on the paid subscriptions, because now I'm going to be paying double that I would have just been paying. Unless I just buy all the subscriptions, which would be a pain, and get rid of cable altogether.
Which is more. I do like the one defense of streaming services is that if you do like go in with like multiple people, or you pay for, I mean, because how many Netflix logins can you have? 5 or something? I mean, that you can cut those costs.
I don't think it's how many logins.
It's how many devices at once.
Not how many logins. It's how many devices at once. Same thing with YouTube TV. You can have 3 devices going at once. We share it.
We do, but we still share it with my former roommates as well. But we
share it with 4 people.
4 total.
So divide it by how much is it?
I think it's 65 or something.
The standard is like 50.
Yeah, and then we get the sports package, so it's like 65 or something like that. But
which is like
it's like $15 a month, and we
$15 a month.
45 times 4, 5, 6 times 4, yeah, or 15 times 4, 15. Yeah, I can do math. The problem with that we were having though, because so what's cool about YouTube TV is that we each have our own login, which means we each have our own DVR, we each have our own like set of shows that we have saved and stuff, so it's all completely separate. So someone can't kind of mess up your stream of things. But there were cases
Netflix,
where we were separate and we all wanted to watch something in different places. Like because you can watch on your phone, you can watch on your computer and stuff. But we would be splitting, all 4 of us would be trying to watch something at the same time, and you can't do that. It can only be 3. So
I would limit it to 3 people, unless you're living with one of the other people and only watch on the TV.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If anyone is listening and cares.
Everyone cares.
Yes.
If they've gotten this
people
far.
Care. If they're listening.
Tell me these people don't care? They love us. Listen to us. That was a joke, of course.
But I would be watching like Red Zone on Sunday, and I would get someone like I would get logged out because someone else is doing it. I'm like, and I would keep doing it until someone would stop logging me out.
A login battle.
Yes, I always win. Like I would make sure that because I have it connected to the TV downstairs and my computers, I would make sure that the TV wasn't using it whenever I would switch over. So I would always be using at least one usually. So I didn't overstep my, what is it called? Range bound.
I know what you mean.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you lag out or something?
No, I was thinking of something. I was like trying to
brain fart.
Yeah. Question. We're at an hour, and this will probably cut down to like 40 minutes.
No, I don't think this one will cut down as much as the last one.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, we're about an hour, so do you just want to cut it there? I have another thing, but that's a full conversation. The adding vegetarian.
No, I think an hour is good right now. That's correct. Alrighty, well, see you next week.
That was good talking to you. See you, or talk to you next week.